Okay, I forgot to turn on. I set up another camera to capture some better quality footage. All right, what do you guys think? You think I should throw? This is my problem. I'm way overkill. I bring a bazillion rods because I just want to be able to pick it up, just like the guys do on the tour. I just want to be able to pick it up. The next one, if I'm not getting bit, come on now. I don't know what's going on here. It's all messed up, that's what's going on. Saturday morning. Tell you what, I was excited to get up and do some fishing this morning, but it was tough. I had that alarm go off at 4:50, and I just was, God dang, I gotta get me another 15 minutes. So then next thing you know, it's 5:05, alarm's going off. I'm like, oh, I need an extra 15 minutes. So it got to be about 5:20, 5:25, and I finally got up. And it made me a little late. I didn't get started, like I said, at the 6 a.m. start time that I had planned. Like, I don't know why I do that to myself. You got two little kids that are under 2.5. It's like, and your wife and the kiddos are gone visiting a family member. You ought to take the time to get some sleep. But if I did that, I would miss out on a pretty good morning of fishing. I was saying earlier, you know, we used to be able to catch a fish on every single cast, and we've just done a really good job of removing a lot of fish, to the point where our average bass is around that 14 to 16 inch mark, and so we're talking about nearly a 2-inch average. Oh, our 2-pound average. Man, that a 2-pound average in a pond, guys, is just, that's a super fun range to be in. So what I'm doing here now is I'm throwing a 2.5. This is that 2.5 inch square bill. I'll show you. You guys can tell me whether you think this bait has caught some fish in the past. That's seen some action right there. Great bait. I will tell you though, I need to get a few more. There's a guy down here named David Ryan that he's got a company called Dave's Custom Baits, and he makes these balsa square bills. They're not cheap. They're not cheap at all. They're hand carved, but for a period of time, the large one, I can't remember the color, it was like a yellowish color, had the lake record fish here in the pit. Yet I know he's won a lot of money in tournaments. I need to get me a few more of those balsa square bills. Alright, so let me get the boat turned around so you guys can actually see what I'm doing here, because we're getting to be in a hot spot that there ought to be some fish sitting there. It's a beaver lodge and they're always on it. So I'm going to get the boat turned at an angle where hopefully you guys are going to be able to see if they do strike. Hopefully you guys are going to be able to at least see and hear it. It's just a classic spot. It's super fun. I haven't caught a whole bunch of the real big ones off it. I've caught a couple 4-pounders off of it over the years. It's only really been around the last couple years. And the beavers are not necessarily living there anymore because we've taken care of that. Let's see if we can, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Okay, I got one coming up and touching it right. Got him! Man, he just barely wanted to freaking, just barely. Nice. It's a long fish, but he's skinny. He just barely slurped it down. Just barely slurped it down. That's about a 15 and a half inch fish. A little skinnier than I'm used to seeing in here. I'm gonna see. Wow, he's bigger than I thought. He's 16 and a quarter long, but I bet he's a pound and 3/4. 16 and a quarter ought to be a 2-pounder all day long. Let's see if we can get another one. I mean, he came up and just tapped it and sucked it down for just a split second. I set the hook on him. Look, I'm not going to complain about a weak topwater bite because topwater is an outrageously fun experience. But when you do get into the really good topwater bite, you're just like, oh, why can't I have that every time? Where they're just smoking it and they're just in that mood, man. That's how it was last time I was out a couple weeks ago. It's funny. Like I said, they go through little patterns and their mood changes here in the pit just like it changes on a big lake. Like clearly to me, if I was not trying to force a topwater bite, I'd have probably already started moving towards a jig and a brush hog. But I'm trying to do the fun stuff for the video for you guys. We're gonna drop this brush hog in. I'm gonna start right along this log. I guess I should check, see if anybody's asking anything. Who's tuned in? Hey Billy, Jake, how's it going? What up, Kevin? Steve, Dalton. Hope you guys are all doing great this morning. There we go, that's what we're talking about right there. Hey, quit spinning on me, dude. Tell you what, they're feisty. He ate that good. Look at that. Nice fish. So that's another 16 and a halfer right there. Now I pulled it over the end of the beaver lodge out in there, and as soon as I felt it come over the top of one of the sticks, he just thumped it. So we're gonna see if we can pull another one or two out of there. Oh no! Yeah, he smoked it. He absolutely smoked it. That's craziness. Broke my freaking line. Are you kidding me? Wow. that's really, that was my last really big hook. I'll show you the kind of the setup I'm doing. I'm just doing a real simple, that's it, that's all it is. I've got the weight, it's a tungsten weight, typically 3/8. This is a little bit bigger than 3/8. And then I will add a whatever plastic of choice. In this case, I will tell you, it's been hard for me to find, but the Ozark Trail brush hogs are about perfect. And I can't find them at Walmart anymore. That's where I used to get them. And maybe it's just I haven't been in Walmart looking for a while, but this is a Strike King brush hog, a little bit smaller profile than what I like to throw. Green pumpkin, we'll see if that does anything. I cannot believe that just broke that line. I mean, I will never know how big that fish was, but he thumped it hard, very hard. Yep. As soon as it hit the water. As soon as it hit the water. There we go. See yourself out, brother. And there he goes. All right. So that bite was so fast right there. The line hit the water, or the bait hit the water, and I just saw the line just start going nuts. So I wound up and set the hook, and he was there. Let's see. See how many more. I think this is a good one. Felt like a good one. He was just down in there. He's not as good as I thought. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Nice fish. Come on now, dude. Well, we might have to start chasing some brush pile bite here with the brush hog, because it's 3 in a row. Really good bites. Let's see if we can get another one. Oh, I just shorted it. I shorted it too much. There he is. Come on out of there. Ah! Popped off. Yeah, so this tells me they're in some deeper wood. Those brush hogs are already about done. Which isn't as fun of a video bite to film, but it's fun for me to catch them. Might not be as fun to watch. Ooh. Okay, I don't think I got a hook in that fish. So let's see if we can get him to bite again. Because he just smoked me and took my brush hog. Got him. They're just piled in there, man. Not a big one. Like this is for sure the type of fish that we would keep. This is about a 10-inch fish. But I don't have time to mess with it today. Honestly, it's hard to find the time. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to manage these pits. That's why I started doing some guided strip pit fishing, because at least we could make a little money and get paid to do the effort of cleaning for the client. Got him. They're just absolutely stacked in there. Absolutely stacked. I was messing with the trolling motor on that one. I don't know if you guys saw. I was trying to get the boat back in position where you guys could see what the heck was going on, and he just absolutely smoked it. I'm so bad. I always, like, I'll keep track of like the first 5 to 10 fish, and now I forgot already. Oh no. Okay, there we go. Thought I got snagged. Oh! Feeder's going off. Wow, I just got hit hard. How did that not get a hook in him? Like my line, he ran off with my line. Yeah, feeder's going off. We might go take a little buzz and look at that. But that's mostly just catfish and bluegills. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the one thing I do like to do, I'm not above throwing a bobber with a worm into the pile of catfish. We've had some really big ones. Unfortunately, the otters have really done a lot of damage to our catfish. They do a big number on them. They're bad. And we used to have just honestly a couple hundred that would come up every single time. And now we're down to just a few dozen from all the otters eating, even the big ones, the big giant catfish. They're a real problem. Very cool creatures, but they are a real menace when it comes to managing fish in a strip pit here in Henry County, because you have all these pits that are interconnected throughout the county, and it's let's see if we can get him out. There he is. There we go. Whoop. And there he goes. They can travel pretty freely. In fact, I have a video on the Mahoney Outdoors YouTube channel that was filmed, gosh, I don't know how many years ago now, but a long time ago, maybe even 10 years ago, where I filmed 5. I was in the middle of the woods. I was nowhere near any water. Closest water was a quarter mile. Anyway, 5 otters, 5 of them. Just a family, just relocating, running through the woods. I just heard this huge commotion as I was in a tree stand, deer hunting. It was in the fall, it was in November. And dang, when I saw that, that was back when I used to film a lot of my deer hunts, and I got the camera up and I could not believe it. I think that's like 6 or 7 fish I pulled out of here. For those that have tuned in and missed the beginning, I did the first cast challenge, and it was kind of a debacle because I took the first cast along the bank, and the way I casted it, the lure drifted and got snagged on the bank immediately. So I couldn't do a first cast. So I had to pick up my other spook and cast again, and then successfully. Man, wow. He must have just been in there, because it's one of those bites, bass fishermen know, when you're fishing in the brush and you've got it in there and you feel that first tug, boy, you are. And it just feels extra heavy down in that brush pile. You think you've got a giant, and that's what that felt like. I thought, oh, this is that 3 or 4 pounder I've been waiting for. And nope. Nope, he was just down in there. Did great. Let's see how many more we can get out of here. Super fun. Uh-oh. That's not good. That's usually when the spot gets ruined, is inevitably I forget to check the hook and the hook's exposed and it gets stuck on one of the pieces of wood. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Oh yeah, this is real fun. This is a problem. Okay, thankfully I did not, like I thought. Oh wait, yep. Yes, I did. I did indeed. But we're gonna get out, and I'm probably gonna need to retie. My dad just drove up. I don't know if he wants to get on the boat or not, but we'll go and see what he has going on. I'm gonna retie this bad boy because that was a problem what just happened. I don't know how the line did not get totally stuck in the trolling motor, but it didn't. But it got it nicked. It for sure nicked it pretty good. I just bought these new Bubba scissors. Pretty stinking nice scissors. I really like them. Huh. Okay. So, what I like to do, let me get out my handy dandy yeah, boys and girls. Anybody else out doing some fishing today? Other than me? This is the only fishing I'm going to be doing. Let's see. What's going on, boys and girls? Hold on. It's kind of a pain in the ass to read comments here. I can't even... I see that there's a couple of comments, but I can't. Oh, Hunter, good, thanks, appreciate that. Hunter, you ought to be out tournament fishing, bro. Thought you had a big tournament today. Hunter Bowling is a buddy of mine that runs the Truman Lake Tournament Series on Truman Lake, and it's just a fun little crappie tournament series. Nothing crazy as far as big money goes, but it's some of the best anglers in the country that fish it. And why is that? Well, it's because the best anglers in the country, a lot of them, I'm not saying they're all here at Truman Lake, but a lot of them are here at Truman Lake. And so this is just kind of a fun tournament that's more of a bragging rights deal. Very, you know, if you're looking to just get started, it's a very friendly community, very welcoming. Hunter does a great job running it. I'd look into it. You could look up Truman Lake Tournament Series on Facebook. They've got a new Facebook page. Okay, boys and girls, little Palomar knot action is complete. Retie is done. Oh yeah, there's some fish over here. Boy, you know what? I had the thought of bringing a night crawler out, and it does make me wonder if you guys want to see me try to do this. I will tie a popper onto this lure, or onto this rod, and see if a catfish will eat a topwater. What do you guys think? I think this might do it right here. I don't know if you can see off the distance behind me. This isn't ideal because this is fluorocarbon line. Fluorocarbon sinks. But it's my only available rod at the moment, so that's what we're going to go with. Sinking line is not great for topwater fishing, just for those who may not know why that's a problem. They can travel pretty freely. In fact, I have a video on the Mahoney Outdoors YouTube channel that was filmed, gosh, I don't know how many years ago now, but a long time ago, maybe even 10 years ago, where I filmed 5. I was in the middle of the woods. I was nowhere near any water. Closest water was a quarter mile. Anyway, 5 otters, 5 of them. Just a family, just relocating, running through the woods. I just heard this huge commotion as I was in a tree stand, deer hunting. It was in the fall, it was in November. And dang, when I saw that, that was back when I used to film a lot of my deer hunts, and I got the camera up and I could not believe it. I think that's like 6 or 7 fish I pulled out of here. For those that have tuned in and missed the beginning, I did the first cast challenge, and it was kind of a debacle because I took the first cast along the bank, and the way I casted it, the lure drifted and got snagged on the bank immediately. So I couldn't do a first cast. So I had to pick up my other spook and cast again, and then successfully. Man, wow. He must have just been in there, because it's one of those bites, bass fishermen know, when you're fishing in the brush and you've got it in there and you feel that first tug, boy, you are. And it just feels extra heavy down in that brush pile. You think you've got a giant, and that's what that felt like. I thought, oh, this is that 3 or 4 pounder I've been waiting for. And nope. Nope, he was just down in there and did great. Let's see how many more we can get out of here. Super fun. Uh-oh. That's not good. That's usually when the spot gets ruined, is inevitably I forget to check the hook and the hook's exposed and it gets stuck on one of the pieces of wood. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Oh yeah, this is real fun. This is a problem. thankfully, I did not, like I thought. Oh wait, yep. Yes, I did. I did indeed. But we're gonna get out, and I'm probably gonna need to retie. My dad just drove up. I don't know if he wants to get on the boat or not, but we'll go and see what he has going on. I'm gonna retie this bad boy because that was a problem what just happened. I don't know how the line did not get totally stuck in the trolling motor, but it didn't. But it got it nicked. It for sure nicked it pretty good. I just bought these new Bubba scissors. Pretty stinking nice scissors. I really like them. Huh. Okay. So, what I like to do, let me get out my handy dandy yeah, boys and girls. Anybody else out doing some fishing today? Other than me? This is the only fishing I'm going to be doing. Let's see. What's going on, boys and girls? Hold on. It's kind of a pain in the ass to read comments here. I can't even... I see that there's a couple of comments, but I can't. Oh, Hunter, good, thanks, appreciate that. Hunter, you ought to be out tournament fishing, bro. Thought you had a big tournament today. Hunter Bowling is a buddy of mine that runs the Truman Lake Tournament Series on Truman Lake, and it's just a fun little crappie tournament series. Nothing crazy as far as big money goes, but it's some of the best anglers in the country that fish it. And why is that? Well, it's because the best anglers in the country, a lot of them, I'm not saying they're all here at Truman Lake, but a lot of them are here at Truman Lake. And so this is just kind of a fun tournament that's more of a bragging rights deal. Very, you know, if you're looking to just get started, it's a very friendly community, very welcoming. Hunter does a great job running it. I'd look into it. You could look up Truman Lake Tournament Series on Facebook. They've got a new Facebook page. Okay, boys and girls, little Palomar knot action is complete. Retie is done. Oh yeah, there's some fish over here. Boy, you know what? I had the thought of bringing a night crawler out, and it does make me wonder if you guys want to see me try to do this. I will tie a pop-R onto this lure, or onto this rod, and see if a catfish will eat a topwater. What do you guys think? I think this might do it right here. I don't know if you can see off the distance behind me. This isn't ideal because this is fluorocarbon line. Fluorocarbon sinks. but it's my only available rod at the moment, so that's what we're going to go with. Sinking line is not great for topwater fishing, just for those who may not know why that's a problem. I don't know, I've caught a catfish on, you know, crankbaits, Ned rigs, chatterbaits. I don't know. I've caught them on, you know, a bobber and a worm, like 6 inches under the bobber here. I don't know, hold on, let me turn the boat. You guys might not be able to see it yet, and I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see all the swirling going on back behind me here. It's right about, well, if you can see the dock, it's right out in front of the dock. And there's some action. It's slowing down. I basically will get about 30-40 yards from where they're coming up and schooling on that food that we're feeding them. And then I'm just gonna whip this up there and see if maybe they'll come and eat it. Oh, I just saw a big old bass blow up back here in the corner. That's where I wanted to go early, and I just stopped and I went somewhere else. So I'm glad we're coming this way because I want to go catch that fish. Okay, we're getting into where I can kill the motor here momentarily. Oh, I shorted it. Dang. Oh boy, man, if someone had like a fly rod, I'm sure somebody does, ties some crazy food looking fly. I'm sure somebody's done that. And just whip that out here. All right, here we go. I'm definitely, I'm in the zone now. I'm not gonna give this very long though, because they're all right there under the surface. If they're gonna do it quickly, if they're gonna do it. And it doesn't look like they're really gonna do it. Been decent. Nothing crazy. Probably 12 to 15 fish. Nothing real big yet. Bunch of 15, 16 inches. Oh. Alright, so we're gonna move into this corner where I saw that blow up. What time is it, do you know? 7:15, okay. All right, so I started the live stream at about 6:15, and one thing that is very interesting about this pit is that topwater bite isn't always very good in the very first 45 minutes to an hour. It a lot of times picks up like right now, between now and 8:30. So I'm gonna go back to my topwater here for a little bit and see if we can't. Obviously the brush hog was killing them there in the woods, so I will go back to that here before long. I don't fish a popper very much. It's kind of a slower, it's just such a slow, and I fish fast. I fish fast, take as many casts as I can, And fishing a popper is kind of slow. You really have to work it, let it sit. So that big blow up was right back here in the corner. So I'm slowly making my way back. We'll see if he's still back here. I have to imagine that he is. I don't know if you guys could see how close that was, but it was stinking close to getting me. Alright. I don't know if you guys can hear that chainsaw in the background. Oh, there he is. Whoa! That was about as Bassmaster of a freaking hook set as it gets, man. He came, that was freaking fun. And he engulfed it. That's a really, really good sign. Just inhaled it. He's bleeding bad, so we're gonna get him back. Just inhaled that thing. Anyway, my dad's cutting up a bunch of logs that we pulled out of the water. All right, we're going for the bass. He was right back here. Oh, come on. I'm getting all antsy because I know he's back here. All right. I don't know if you guys can see or not. I'm trying to get it where you guys can hopefully see it if it happens. I'm pretty impatient. If I don't get a hit pretty quickly in that first 10 to 15 feet, got him. Nice fish. Boy, I tell you what, I do not like you flopping like that with treble hooks everywhere. Gosh darn it, that last bass that I caught, it got him in a weird spot. It didn't look like it got him in the gills, but it got him in a weird spot. He's bleeding, he's probably not gonna make it, it looks like. Nice fish. Okay, that's not the, I mean, I guess it could be the blow up I saw. Boy, it looks like a nice fish. What? I'll tell you what, this is the kind of crap that happens to me non-stop. I have to go mess up where I'm casting now. So I threw into what appeared to be, you know, no big deal, but there's just this teeny little stick up under the water. Under the water. And that is what it's stuck on. Okay. Well, time to move it along now, because that will have just messed up my area I was casting. We'll cast over here, just grin. So, I'm going to flip the boat around. A lot of times I drive this boat. Yeah, gosh darn it. bass is sitting here floating at the top. Don't know if he's gonna make it or not. I'd say not, but he's staying upright. He's staying upright. I like driving this boat. I don't have a foot controlled trolling motor. It's got just this tiller, the handle deal, and it makes a lot of sense to drive the boat backwards a lot. Where I'm at the back of the boat, and I'll flip it, the tiller around so that it's facing away from the boat, and that's how I kind of, you'll see me just kind of steer it with my foot sometimes, and that's what I do. Oh boy, that is about as money cast as it gets. The topwater just might not be the same today. And right now, I mean, last night it was pretty slow. I did not catch a lot of fish last night. Granted, I wasn't really fishing that hard. We'll go back to the brush hog and see if we don't start slaying them again here pretty quick. Okay. Unfortunately, you're not going to see this, but there's this really nice lay down that comes into the lake here. And he was right where he was supposed to be in the lay down. I might just have to stick with the brush hog, just another 14-incher. Brush hog in the wood is clearly very productive today. Let's see if he's got some buddies with him. Come on. Oh man, I was dragging it through there. It sure felt like there was something. Oh no, don't do that to me. I cannot believe that fish was by itself in here. I just cannot, I will not accept it. Come on, come on. That spot's usually always good for 2 or 3. Come on. Okay. Ooh, little kitty cat action. Okay. Well, I guess, ooh, now that, I might be able to reach out and touch that fish. He blew up pretty far out there. Let's see. We're gonna go with the frog. Okay, there's several blow-ups here. Let's try the frog. Of course, it drifted on me. Dang it. multiple blow-ups going on out here. Multiple. We killed all the grass in our pit last year. The frog bite used to just be so good. I have not thrown the frog all year. I don't know if it's any good without all the grass that we used to have or not. But that was definitely several bass within a 10 or 15 second time frame there that all came up hitting something. Smoke it. I do love the frog for skipping it up into some nasty stuff, because there's a lot of overhanging branches. A lot of overhanging branches here in the pit. And you just whip it right underneath them. Huh. Well, let's go try to chase a big fish. We got a couple just classic big fish spots in some suspended, basically just timber in the middle of the pit. That's where I had the nice ones last night. Back-to-back casts. They were together. What was for sure a 5-pluser that just, I had him barely hooked and I didn't have the net. That mistake is not happening today. The net is at the ready. All right, we're gonna kick it in high gear. We're gonna go see. It's gonna take about 3 to 5 minutes to get over there. This lake is a mile long. I'm hoping the service holds out for me. Service gets bad on the other side of the lake. I don't know why. But we're gonna move quick. I hate to fish past all this other stuff, but let's see. Anybody? I can't tell. This stuff is. Uh-oh. This is why I can't step away from the motor. This is the funny thing when you do drive it backward. Just the point. I don't know what you would call it, but if you have the trolling motor turn ever so slightly, it's much more dramatic on turning the boat if I had just been pointing it forward. So I'll focus. Oh yeah, lots of really good wood piles in here that I'm gonna focus on the way back. With all these storms we've had this year, we've got a ton of downed trees that honestly we kind of needed it, because we built this lake almost 10 years ago. And I'll tell you what, a lot of the brush and the trees that we had, that we left, that's really decayed a lot. Really decayed a lot. It's just kind of like Truman. If you go out on Truman Lake, and the upper ends in particular, and the lower ends too. You know, the trees are all, they're all basically rotted off right at the water level. And that's what's happening here now. Okay, so I gotta see if I can, it's one of those situations, it's gotta be perfect. It's gotta be a perfect cast. I'm going too fast. If it's not perfect, it's a disaster. I'm probably just gonna have to hit it on the way back now at this point, but I'm gonna go for it anyway. Didn't quite get it. It's another one of these waterfall spots. That's just a classic. Just classic. Okay. I was getting it snagged so much earlier that I'm being a little bit of a pansy. You know, stopping the bait before it can get up there. That is one thing about fishing in this pit, like from a guide trip perspective. It is easy, but it's not. There's a lot of snags, and I have to use a lot of just weedless stuff. Oh, goodness gracious. He came after that thing. Let's see if I can get him again. Come on, come on. Come on. Come on. I cannot believe he didn't get that. That was probably the most aggressive bite all morning. Minnow, we use a lot of minnows, night crawlers. I had a couple of buddies and one of their daughters out a few weeks ago, about a month ago, and they did great. She actually caught this little 15-year-old girl, real quiet. She caught the new lake record crappie lengthwise. It wasn't super heavy. It was like a pound 50 something, I think. Got him. Oh, lost my balance there, and it wasn't even that. Come on up. Nice fish, nice chunker. I don't know if it was just the momentum of the boat or what, but that put me on my butt. Nice fish. We're getting very close. I mean, there's big fish territory all over, but we're getting very close to some of the best spots on the lake. I don't know if you can see it behind me, but there's essentially an upside down cedar tree where the stump's kind of up at the top of the water and the rest of it's down in the bottom. And the trick is you get on the back side of it and you just run your lure, whatever lure you're throwing, whether it's a brush hog. I'm going to do a spook first. I'm going to do topwater over the top of it a couple of times. See if I can't get one on a topwater. And then I do the crankbait typically, and then I'll drag a bait through the cedar. We'll steer it clear here to the right of it so we don't spook anything. I was out here last night and I had this beaver pop up right next to me on the bank, 10 feet. Just sat there looking at me. Okay, I'm going to get the boat in position here where hopefully you guys are going to be able to see. whatever hits here is liable to be a big one. Caught the big ones yesterday on a squarebill, running it. They were towards the end of the cedar stump. Okay, so nothing wanted the spook there on that first cast. We'll do another pass with the spook. And then I'll do the squarebill crankbait through there too. You know what? I'll do the popper first. There's a little bit of a breeze kind of pushing the boat in here. So let me get it repositioned where you guys can see what the heck's going on. And then, so right behind the camera where you guys are at, there's another big tree. And it is loaded with big crappie a lot of the time, and usually a bass or two. Okay. That should be better. Let's try the popper. Let's see if the popper has anything they want. Oh, not a... Oh, check this out. Check that out. Crappie just absolutely smoked the popper. A freaking crappie. You know, I've had crappie hit topwater in the past, but not like that. That was unbelievable. He was hunting that like a bass would. And it does make me wonder, on this other tree, man, he got this hook good. And it's in a horrible part of his mouth. There we go. Come on, dude. How... Oh. Well, he doesn't have the black stripe. A lot of our crappie have the black stripe. Nice crappie right there. Smoked a popper on the topwater. Are you kidding me? So it's funny, the fish are the crappie are super aggressive in here in the pit. You can ask Richard Bowling, who's the crappie king of Truman Lake. We had him out here, and these crappie were hitting it so hard and taking off like a bass. It was unbelievable to watch. Let's see if we can trying to get the boat turned around, but I'm gonna keep casting up there. I can't believe that. Boy, that was super fun. Okay, so now let's get real serious here. Like, we're gonna get in position, we're gonna get prepared like I should. I always say, you know what, I need to get ready, I need to prepare like I'm about to catch a big one. I need to have the net ready. Because, yeah. Don't do that to me. Come on. And this is where having the balsa squarebill instead of the plastic KVD. Balsa squarebill does a lot better job Okay, the plastic deal is fine. It's fine. But they do, the balsas do way better coming through the wood. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. And there's different applications. If you're fishing around rock a lot, I think is what my buddy Darren Langford tells me, you can use that plastic one. It might perform a little bit better. Certain times of the year. Okay, well now that I officially had to blow that out. Okay, you know what? I'll tell you what. I'm going to throw a cast. I'm not going to... Where's the... That's what I'm looking for right here. I'm going to turn the boat. Not all the way around because we're going to be going this direction, but I am going to go ahead and drag a brush hog through there just for grins, and then I'll probably, I don't know how long I've been recording for, so probably shut the video off before long. Okay, so now we are in position. I don't know if you guys can see that tree behind me or not. It's right here in the middle of the pit. My buddy Sean Bowling, I had him out in his, I think he's got a Ranger, but he's got live scope on it, and he live scoped an absolute giant off of this tree last year. So much fun. Let's see if we can't catch a good one. And this is something where I'm just letting it fall, kind of pendulum down this. It's kind of angled up like this, and so I just kind of let it pendulum down that tree. Should have brought a crappie rod with a crappie jig and done the same damn thing. Oh, did he get my freaking... Nope. Let's try that again. How on earth do they... I just don't know how they get an entire brush hog ripped off without being caught or hooked at a minimum. That's nuts. Well, the first time was for fun. Now that he stole my bait, it's revenge. See if we can get him. What the heck is up? I cannot get him hooked. Cannot get him hooked. This is getting to be where it's a lot more fun for me and a lot less fun to watch, because you're fishing deeper brush piles. This end of the lake is deeper, and we got a bunch of brush piles down deep. And this time of year, Seems like that's where they go. Seems like that's where they go. And this, it's just not, let's see here, where's my bluegill? There it is. Too many rods. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rods on the boat. It's like I'm fishing a tournament practically. Come on now. But all I'm doing on this crankbait, and my bass guys that help me out with Truman Lake Fishing Intel talk about it a lot, you rip these things like that right there. You just rip it back as fast as you can, and you're just truly creating a reaction bite. See, now look, he got it on one treble hook. That's how that big one was hooked last night, and he threw it off, unfortunately, right at the boat. But you're creating a straight reaction bite, ripping it by them, and there's probably just something a little bit different I need to be doing. I probably need to switch a size or maybe a little bit of a different color, because a lot of the crankbait fish have been on that back hook. And that tells you something. I'm about to get snagged. Ooh, got it out. That tells you something. That there's just something a little off. When they're eating it and they got that whole bait in their mouth, both hooks in there, that's when you know that's what they want. There we go, right there. Now watch, let me show you this. Same thing. That back hook, same exact thing as the last fish, right there on the back hook. Now, it's working. If I was smart, I would switch something up now, because if I hook into a big one, he's probably going to be hooked in that identical fashion, and it's going to be dicey on getting them in. But I don't really know. I'm having analysis paralysis on what I would change to. If it'd be a color change or a size change. I don't know. Anybody watching and paying attention? I don't know if we got a lot of people watching right now or not, but I'm open-minded to suggestions. Very much so. Crap, I need to check in, see if anybody's asking any questions or not. All right. Hello, hello, everybody. Let's just keep it moving. Keep it moving. This is where it gets a little dicey on the casting. Like, you really have to have some skill level here if you're throwing a treble hooked bait. If you're throwing a weedless bait, you just let her rip. But this is where we got a lot of overhanging stuff in here. And if you can get a little crankbait in through there, man, it can be really, really good. There's a big old school of bluegill just out here in the middle. Here's the deal. This is typically a fish on this cast. Typically a fish. I am shocked I'm shocked that didn't get a bite. We're gonna keep throwing it up in there. And it might just be one of those things, I just gotta switch baits. I gotta switch baits and just get that brush hog down in there. Gosh darn it. These are a lot steeper banks, gets deeper quickly. They sit underneath all this stuff and they just ambush stuff swimming along. But I've gone about 7 or 8 casts now without a bite since those last 2. And I don't know, I might be pretty spoiled. Or not might be, I am. I am extremely spoiled. We have managed this lake so well that if you go 10 to 15 casts without a bite, you ought to just pick something else up and start throwing it, because they ought to be eating it. I'm going to give this one a few more casts and then we'll start dropping a brush hog in some of this brush that's in here. This is one of our main dams over here. You're going to see it here in a second as the boat turns. It's where we call it the pipe dam. It's where the original spillway was. And we decided, I shouldn't say we decided, my dad decided that we would fill it in with concrete because it had a leak in it. And we wanted to raise the lake by several feet. And so that's what we did. We filled it in with concrete and it worked. It worked, it sealed it, and we raised the lake 3 or 4 feet almost overnight on the next rain. The challenge was, and this is where I was concerned, was we do have an emergency spillway, but we got so much rain, like a month and a half after we did that, that the lake got up and it was going out over the top of every single one of our dams. It was a major problem. And for a lot of people that don't know, it cuts that water. It's like a river. It cuts a channel in the dam, and it can wash out the dam. And so it was a kind of a debacle there. And of course, you know, we'd had a couple of years of drought where, you know, you just weren't really concerned about water, and then we just got downpoured on. But thankfully, the dams held. We got some work done on the dams, raised them, and it's been great ever since. It's been great ever since. All right, we're going with the brush hog now. I went about 15, 20 casts there with no bites on that crankbait. And that freaking thing. So I was dragging it through this brush pile, and I don't know if that's the same fish. It's got to be different. See how quick that changed? In 2 casts, I had 2 bites, and this one's not real big. But that first one, I was letting it kind of fall through the brush pile. I pulled it out, and I was just letting it sink, and letting the line kind of go slack. And as I was winding up, I was trying to wind up and I couldn't catch up to it, and I realized there was a fish swimming off with it out deeper, and I never did catch up to him. As I started catching up to him finally, I could start feeling that weight, and then at that time it was too late, and I just tried to set the hook, and that was that. But there should be another couple of fish in here. It's just a big underwater brush pile, so it's just a matter of throwing it up in there and dragging it through. Oh no, no, no! I don't don't know what it is. It just caught just right. Nope, there it is. There it is. I got it. Sometimes you're dragging it, and then that weight just gets caught just right where you can't quite get it out over the top. And you got to switch the angle up a little bit. I need to fix the hook here. But no, I don't know what time it is. I need to check. By the time I get back to the other side of the lake, I don't know. The sun's up. I don't know how good it's going to be over there. That sun gets up and man, it really changes the bite a lot. I'll tell you what, let me stop the boat right here. We have to make a cast. We got to make a cast into this corner. So this hedge, I don't know if you can see it real good. In fact, let me turn this a little bit. That might be a little better for everybody who's watching. Yeah, they're down in that wood, there's no doubt about it. Super fun way to fish. I don't think it's very fun to watch though, so I understand if people don't want to tune into that, but nice bass. They are in the wood. And you know what's really interesting is if you're fishing Truman Lake, well, I talk about Truman a lot because we run a business called Truman Lake Fishing Intel, for those that don't know. And I find that a lot of the bass in here are doing similar things on Truman. Just with some slightly different nuances. So if you're fishing Truman here the next month, and especially here this week, based on what I'm seeing, I'd be finding brush piles. As many brush piles as I can. See if we can get a thumper out of here. Come on. So there's a lot of crappie when we've had live scope in here. It's been fascinating to see the fish behaviors. They just congregate underneath this tree. So that bass was down here in the corner. See if we can get another buddy of his out of here. Oh, gosh dang it. I was wondering if that was a fish when it hit. Got my freaking brush hog. I'm finding that to be quite annoying on these KBD brush hogs. But again, I don't think I got a hook in him. So, let's see if I can get a hook in him this time. He just absolutely thumped it, and I thought I just kind of had reeled it up into some wood here. Backing off this tree a little bit. I am very snake averse, to put it mildly. Anyone who knows me well, that is understatement of the century. And I gotta tell you, I've seen a number of snakes. Come on, eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it. I've seen a number of snakes that like to hang in these branches around the lake. Got all these rods in my way. So, as you can imagine, I'm pretty aware of my surroundings when I approach these trees and branches, because I do not like the idea of being surprised by a big old black snake falling in the water on top of me. I've seen it happen, folks. It's a thing, and you would understand if you've seen what I've seen. You'd shit yourself. Little guy. Here's the little guy hanging in under there. See, now that to me is a great eater fish. That would have been one if I was keeping fish today. I would have kept that fish, and that would have made for a great fillet. I really like the smaller fillets. I think they fry up better and get a better crunch to them. I don't really like a big slab crappie fillet, a 13, 14 incher. They're fine. Don't get me wrong, they're fine. But they don't quite get, they can be a little mushy in the middle when everything else is cooked great. And I don't really like that texture change. So I like the smaller 9 to 11 inch crappie and those 12 inch bass, which is about what that was, because they just give you a really nice fillet. And by the way, the bass are just as good as the crappie. Don't let anybody fool you. If they're just frying them in Zatarans or whatever fish batter, other than the shape of the fillet, you don't taste or discern a difference. You just don't. It's so funny. But the bass industry has done such a good job of stigmatizing keeping bass on big lakes that people have this perception that bass aren't as good to eat. And they are. They're absolutely as good to eat. And in here, you really gotta keep a lot of bass. Keep that ecosystem in check. All right, come on now. I'm getting into some good stuff right here. Good stuff. Oh, dang it. And there's not a lot to this. You're literally just casting out. You're trying to get it up close. I got some. You're just trying to get it up close to that structure, as close as you can, even in the structure. Oh. You kidding me? Dang thing just ate. Tell you what. They catch fish, clearly, because you guys have seen me catch quite a few today. But these KBD plastics, and it could just be, this could be just a bag of plastics I've had sitting around a long time. But, man, they just fall apart. Just seems like that's how everything's made these days. Fall apart so easy. Like, that was a brand new bait, and it took one hit, and the fish had ripped the tail off. Clearly, I don't need the tail, apparently, because I just caught that fish, but that kind of stuff just annoys the crap out of me. Look at it. Swimming off with it. Yeah, these are all, I kind of wish I was keeping fish today, because these are all be great ones to be keeping and getting out of here. But, oops, it is a riot. There's no doubt about it. When you can catch them like this, just one after the other, you can't complain about that. Let's see if there's another one in there. Same spot. I'm literally, I don't know if you guys can see, I'm about 15 feet off the bank, and I'm just dropping it in. There's an overhang. I don't know if you can see that right here behind me, but I'm just dropping it in right on the edge of this overhang as close as I can get it to underneath, and they're just there. They're just there. Okay, so this plastic has seen its better days. It's donezo. So I gotta pick out something different here. I could go to I'll tell you what, we're gonna do something. We're gonna go to a smaller profile Texas rigged crawdad. And that's something I probably should have been trying a little bit more, because we've got a ton of crawdads in here. So you guys can check that out. That's what we're working with. Let's see. First cast. Good one too. Really good one. Well, there you have it. The crawdad bait was just sitting there next man up and was ready to perform on a nice fish. Nice fish. That's a 2-pounder, right at 2 pounds. Okay, wow. Well, I've only got a few of these in here, so let's see if he's got his daddy or his granddaddy, or I should say grandma, because the females are the ones that get bigger. Okay, here we go, boys and girls. Is there another bass in there? We're about to find out. If I would make a better cast. Just made a terrible cast. It's okay. That's funny. First freaking cast. Oh. Boy, I tell you what, I thought there'd be a fish on that cast. And I really think there ought to be a fish here, but good gracious. So earlier I mentioned how that ought to have been an automatic fish over here, and I did not catch one. Let's see if I throw a plastic in there, if that does any better. Not quite the same angle that I need. When we had Richard out here with his family, we had, oh gosh, we caught over 100 fish. I mean, we were fishing in the heat of the dang day from like 1 to 4:30. We cleaned 50. Just a lot of fun. He had his 2 grandsons and his son Sean. Lynette, it was just a great time having them out. And it was a great time watching Richard just smoke every single crappie you could find on the screen. It was unreal to watch. And these crappie, literally, he was dropping, I can't remember what length rod, one of his big 14, 16-foot rods with minnow, and was dropping on them, and they'd hit it, and they'd just take off running. It was wild to see. Okay, well, let me see what time it is. We've been doing this a while. I'm about, oh, it's only 8:15. Only 8:15. We've caught a lot of fish in the last hour and a half. Or 2 hours, I guess it is. Oh, I should have set the hook, dang it. Let's get him again. Let's see if he'll eat it again. Come on, come on, come on. It's one of those deals where he picked it up on the fall and I wound up to feel the weight and didn't quite get him caught up to set the hook. I can feel and hear a breeze, and it's like above me. Boy, it would be nice. Even here in the shade right now, it's not bad. It's comfortable. I won't say comfortable. It's still warm. But man, a nice little breeze through here. Tell you what, wouldn't be a bad thing. All right, let's keep it moving. I'm gonna keep fishing. I'm probably gonna shut this down here before long. So I'm gonna start fishing really, really slow. It's not gonna be super fun to watch because I'm gonna start casting like every single foot of the bank, going after every little nook and cranny of the lake. And you almost need, like, to fish our pit effectively, you really need a full day at a minimum, if not a weekend, to do it. Coming out and doing it in a few hours does not do it justice. And if I wanted to catch 100 fish today, I'd be doing a few things different. But I'm trying to catch some quality fish. It seems like my quality fish typically come on the brush hog and the big jig, which I have not thrown a jig at all today. And that is something that I might need to consider doing here shortly. I don't have one tied on, it seems. But this is an awful lot of fun. I mean, as far as if you are wanting a trip where you've got a fishing rod, you're fishing the whole time, you've got an entire lake to yourself. There's no fishing license required. We keep essentially everything we want to keep per our guidelines. You know, we do a lot of catch and release of the big ones, of course, but there's no limit on what you can keep and take home with you. I also do a nice breakfast in the morning for folks that come fishing with me. Well, that's really unfortunate. I'm sitting there talking, not paying attention with my line in the water, and clearly I was trying to wind it up and I couldn't, and I could feel something kind of tugging, but I'll tell you what, it was a fish that took me into some stuff, and that's fine, because I was just talking about throwing a jig, and now we can do that. Now I'm thinking this nice little green brush hog. I said green brush hog. Green pumpkin jig with just a little trailer. This is kind of a smaller profile jig. I usually subscribe to the ideology of you really need to throw bigger baits for the bigger fish. But a lot of the fry and stuff is, the crawdads are about this size. The little fry that are swimming around aren't super big yet. So, this should be about right. Let's see if we can get some bites on the jig. It can be really, really deadly. That dang sun, I'll tell you what, I am not gonna hang too terribly long in the sun. I am going to go fish the other side of the lake, which is completely sunny right now, but there's some big old brush piles over there that are worth hitting. So we're going to speed this up to get over there, and then that's when I'm going to slow it down around those brush piles. See, now here's a great spot. Here's a great spot. It's in the shade still. It's something a little bit different. It's like an indentation in the bank. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to try to take a few casts into here. There just really ought to be a fish in here, I would think. I would sure think. Gosh, I cannot believe that. Cannot believe that. There's gotta be. Wow, okay. Crazy. We'll keep it moving. We'll keep it moving right along here. I've got some other pits. I guess maybe I'll do some videos from some other pits. That might be kind of fun. Do something different. It's hard for me to go away from this one because I know what's in here. I know what the potential is and what you can catch. A lot of these other pits aren't as managed. But there is one in particular. We did a really good job. We stocked. It's a little 3.5 acre deal. Built it and stocked bluegills and shiners in it a year before. Then we put the F1 bass. I forget what kind of strain it is, but we had 3-pounders in 1 year. It was unbelievable. That's at my buddy's place, and he's just done a good job of doing the right stocking schedule, and it's just got bass, bluegill, and shiners in it. Well, I tell you what, the jig hasn't, may have had a little bite on it, but so far, I have not had a decisive bite on it yet, which is interesting to me. The jig ought to be doing really good. But it is getting to be that time of the morning. It's so funny. Where the bite kind of changes and you just gotta figure it out. And I have not tried a 10-inch worm yet all year. That's one of my favorite things to throw in here. I never used to throw it until about 4 or 5 years ago. And man, it just catches the crap out of them. Just catches the crap out of them. But I tell you what, this jig is in some high percentage spots here and it is not getting a bite, so. The jig might not stay tied on very long. That's so crazy. I thought that was my first bite, but what happened was the jig got caught on this little branch, and as I was winding it in, it was kind of moving up that branch. I thought he was swimming off with it, but it wasn't. That was a set the hook because it may have been a bite, but maybe not type of situation right there. Yeah, look at that bright sun. We're coming into the sun. I'd say we'll give this another 20-30 minutes of hanging out, and then I'm going to call it good, and I'm going to get back home and clean up. I got to go do some showings today. Get my glasses on. If you are looking or selling here around Henry, Benton, St. Clair County, Johnson County, that's what I do. Help guide people through the whole process, get stuff marketed, sold, bought, whatever you're looking for. Do some land management stuff for a few select clients, depending on what it is. We can help with that. Food plots. Kind of have a team of guys that all can do different things, whether it's planting, disking, killing stuff with herbicide, and just general setup of properties. If you just don't even know where to start, you want to get into deer hunting or turkey hunting, and you don't even know where to start on how to set the property up, and it's just raw land, we help do all that. We help you do all that. Alright, we're gonna change the angle of the boat here because it is very much facing in the sun, and I don't want that glare on the video. While we are traversing to a spot that I want to hit, we're going to get rid of the jig. The jig should have got a bite, and it did not. I mean, 0 bites. That's very, very weird. I'll tell you what, a lot of self-described pro bass fishermen, they really look down upon the old Ned rig, but man, if you want to catch just absolute numbers of fish, woohoo, that is quite the bait to be throwing in here. And it catches everything too, interestingly. It'll catch the crappie, it'll catch the crap out of the bass. You will catch big bass on it, not as often, but you will catch big bass. I've caught 2 of my biggest bass on a Ned rig. I caught this one that was over 6 pounds at Lake Jacomo and Lee Summit on a Ned rig. And I caught numerous 5s out of this pit on a Ned. Oh gosh darn it. I just tied this beautiful, beautiful Palomar knot. But you know what I neglected to do? Was put the weight on first. Gotta have that weight. Boy, it is pretty out here. That sun doesn't have a, like now that I'm in the sun, it's not really much warmer than what I was doing where I was in the shade. Doesn't have a lot of that intensity yet, which is great. I'm not complaining. I'm sure it won't be long. Okay. Back to this is a yum crawdad, kind of a green pumpkin back with a little bit of orange and some flakiness to it on its belly. And what's really interesting, if you ever come fish with me in here on a trip, you will catch a bass that has crawdad in its belly and its whiskers sticking out, and then we'll clean the bass, and the coloration on these crawdads in here is really, really cool. A lot of orange, a lot of orange. You don't really see a lot of blue. Oh boy, I just saw a blow up over here where I'm getting ready to drop a bait. But I do catch a lot of fish on the blue, on the blue jig, so it's kind of funny. You guys have, anybody who's been watching this whole thing, I doubt anybody's watched the whole thing, but we've seen 2/3 of the lake, maybe. It's a big lake. It's over a mile long. It's pretty stinking cool. Okay, we caught a whole bunch of fish here earlier. Let's see if we can catch a few more. Let's see if there's any more left. didn't get a hook in their mouth earlier. I pulled it up over a little stump, and he smoked it, and I missed it. Let me turn the boat back around. See. That got him. Nice fish. Nice chunker. There we go. Gosh darn it. That was dumb. You know, sometimes you're pulling it through the brush and it just feels a little weird, and I don't like just setting the hook in the middle of a brush pile, but that in particular right there was a fish because he started to tug on it, and I just lost the... Got him right there. Same spot, I'm sure it's the same fish. Right in the top of the mouth. I'd clean that fish. So that's 2 out of there now. Oh gosh, I'll have to go back and look at the video after the fact, but we had 6 or 7 or 7 or 8 out of this thing earlier too. There's usually a big one with them. So far we have not gotten the big one yet. It is so much stinking fun throwing into a brush pile, feeling the little tick, 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 and then you just feel that tug and freaking set the hook, boys. Man, that is fun. And we are down to my last yum crawdad, but I've got more other types. Crawdad plastic and the brush hog have been the top performers today. We got a little bit of a topwater bite, not what I was hoping for coming out this morning, but we did get some. Just got to take what the fish give you. Don't try to force anything. Got him. Alright, nice healthy fish, short fish, but healthy. Love to see it. He was chunky enough, I thought there might be some crawdad whiskers in here I could show you, but there isn't. How many can we get? Dang it. my line just started, and I was in some brush. Couldn't quite get the hook set, so we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back in there and we're gonna get him. Come on. Come on. Ah, boy. Well, we might have got all we can get out of here. We're gonna keep it moving. One little spot up around the corner I'm going to fish to, and then I'm going to call it a day. But I'll tell you what I am going to do in the meantime is I'm going to do a little bit of power fishing. Sun's up a little bit. We're going to just rip a crankbait through some of this stuff. Oh, come on. Same damn branch I just got off of. Made me a little nervous there for a second, but just for a second. It is sunny over here. I should probably stick to those crawdads and brush hogs into the brush, but can't help myself. I just love catching them on a square bill. There's just a lot of wood right in through here you can throw around, and they like it. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. A couple of these spots I'm casting right now, I would usually call my shot, but they ain't wanting to chase apparently. So back to the crawdad we go. We'll slow it down here a little bit. We got some good shade still on this bank. We got some standing trees. There ought to be a few bass lurking. And the fishing's slowing down enough where it's just like, you know, you had your fun. You had the window, and it's just like, oh boy. Nice fish. Oh, you kidding me, dude? You took my freaking crawdad. Boy, I thought that was a bigger fish than what he is. He's a nice fish, don't get me wrong. Real nice fish. Anyway, just like Truman though, or like you have your windows, and after those windows are done, you kind of have to grind a little bit. You gotta grind. Trying to find. I mean, I guess I could just try a rubber worm. I do like, this is, I forget what this color is called. We'll try it. We'll try this worm. It's not red shad. It's like some kind of plum, maybe. I don't know. But it's not a bad color in here. I didn't go to a 10-inch worm because I just don't have the right size hook. Oh, gee! How on earth does that not get hooked? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Let's see if we can get back in there. Oh, man. How does that not get hooked? Feeling the heat now, boys and girls. Feeling it now. It's not terrible, but it's kind of like one of those things where you don't feel it, and then all of a sudden you think about it, and now that you've thought about it, you're just like, oh, that's not great. That's not great. Oh, come on, Mr. Bass. I know you live in here. You little freaking. I knew he was in there. You know, this is too little of a crawdad, but we're going to try it just for grins. Just for grins. Teeny tiny little crawdad trailer. Texas rig. Got him out of there. Oh, and there's the worm. He just spit the worm. I kid you not. Same fish. I'll show you the worm. He literally just spit it. You little monster, you. That's hilarious. Let's see if I can get him unhooked here. Nice fish. And here's, literally as I ripped him out of the water, let me, he spit the worm. So it's the fish I just lost. Got my worm back. Check that out. That's hilarious. And now that I got my worm back, we're gonna hook it back up. But no, folks, I think it's slowing down enough, and that's probably a good way to end it, to be honest. So I appreciate everybody watching. I haven't even seen who all's been watching or commenting, but I'll tell you, if you want to come out and fish, get a hold of me. I'm doing a very select number of guide trips. They're not the same price as Truman. They're more expensive. There's a lot more stuff that goes into it over here, and got to pay trespass fees and stuff on these pits and whatnot, but it's a really great experience. And if you're just looking for something that's nice and easy and chill, this is the way to do it right here. And the fall will be really good. Late August, September just starts getting really good in here in particular. So be sure to check it out. Give me a shout. Appreciate everybody watching. If you have any suggestions for doing these in the future, if you want me to do some other stuff, I'll probably keep doing them. Seems like this last one I did, I had a lot of people reach out that really liked it. So I was like, well, hell, I'll do it again. So if anybody... Oh, got another one. Got another one. All right. Tell you what, how about that? We'll end it on that one right there. I'm gonna fish for a little bit longer and try to catch a big one. But appreciate y'all watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Go on, dude. Hard fighting fish up there in the brush. We're gonna whip the Come on. How do you not eat that, dude? Huh. Boy, there's a lot of beds over here along the dam. That's pretty cool to see. I don't know if there's any bass up there, but we're going to give it a little toss and see. Some bluegill tip tapping it. Got my freaking worm. Are you kidding me? I am going through so many darn plastics. I guess that's a good problem to have. Wow, the amount of beds over here is unreal. I guess they're bluegill beds. What? How does that not get hooked? Goodness gracious. Don't know what it was chasing and eating. Must have been a little bass. watched him come up through that brush to get it. That was awesome. Quit your shaking, dude. Quit your shaking. Just a lot of cookie cutters today. A lot of cookie cutters. Come on. Oh, darn it. That's it.